Okay, so I'm here because like stuff, you know, I wanted to explain how we do that and how we do this. Okay, so let's go to conveyors. Bam, bam, bam. Magnetized terrain. So conveyors, they have a special property where they move your flinger across, right? So what that does is it creates a constant force of movement in that direction, which we can wait, let me just load that up, which we can represent as a vector. Boom. So look, you have where you grab on. Or wait, let's do this, bam. Okay, you have where you grab on. You have a constant movement in this direction. When you're rotating, you're essentially morphing that direction by entirely turning it. Yeah, how do I explain this in simpleton terms? Look, if I grab onto here and start looking up, you can see that we go way higher. If you start looking down or whatever, it's gonna make you have the opposite effect. Essentially, the rotation you do while on the conveyor is significant, because it changes all of the directions that you go. There was one clip where one guy was perfectly fine playing on conveyors, but he was, at the last second, moving his mouse the wrong way, causing him to go the entirely wrong way. Cause even the slightest movement at the end of, like, this conveyor would still mess you up. This is actually a great conveyor over here to like show that, because you can do that and you can realize, oh yeah, I essentially go that way. But also you can just like, okay, I can't really represent that with that one, can I? Okay, if you flick fast enough, you can just negate the effects of a conveyor and just fling in one direction, even if the conveyor is like 300 studs per second. Okay, that also essentially unlocks your speed limit, because you're just changing the amount of speed into a different direction, which allows you to do the crazy jumps. It's kind of a weird thing to learn. It's really just thinking about it in a mathematical way. But over here, there was one jump in the speed run that I did that I want to further explain, because it gives you insanely good context. So essentially here, what you do, all you have to do is start looking over to the right, because the conveyor is slightly going this way. When you're rotating like this to the right, what you're doing out is slightly giving you forwards and backwards motion because of the length of your flinger, but also giving you just pure upwards momentum, since you're canceling out this direction, but the upwards momentum still stays. And doing that, you do some crazy stuff. Also, this skip is so insanely hard to hit without game passes. Like, for the world record, oh wow, I hit it. It's insanely luck-based. It's also what you gotta do for Snowy Mount. It's like, knowing how to conveyor fling is used for only like 2 or 3 records at this point, but is still some of the craziest tech you can learn. Like over here, normally you'd have to spend like 3-ish minutes on this, but no. Look, essentially, you just don't, you know, you just fling a little upwards. Okay, that was weird. How did that person just teleport to me? Yeah. Wait. I'm gonna show it again. Still, like, wait, I can maybe show more attack on this. It's very weird how it works. You have to really get a mathematical understanding of constant movement vectors and rotational axes if you want to realize how this works. Because here, you just do bam, and you go an insane amount up, like, more than you could normally fling high up and stuff. Like, it's super weird, you know. Like, I would explain it in more depth, but how do I do that? Like, you just gotta learn from experience. Yeah, either way, using this, you can do a lot of crazy stuff. Like this, for example, which is a skip that I have now hit for like the second time ever. Which is actually crazy, or no, this is my third time hitting that specific skip where you go all the way up, I think. Ah. Like, all of the conveyor fling skips except the one in Snowy Mount are like I really don't know how to talk today. They're like frame perfect. That one specifically, essentially frame perfect. The skip I did to get all the way up here, probably frame perfect too. It's the precision of conveyors is crazy. And is there anything else? Yeah. For people struggling with the moon, because apparently a lot of people find that insanely difficult, or getting to the moon. Nope, that's the wrong direction. Is it? Yeah. This way. Look, essentially there is a time or an extension block section, which is probably the hardest section you'd actually have to do in the normal game, which you can skip by doing something with King Noob. And I don't know if they already added the part of you having to bring him a drink. But that's not what I'm going to show right now, because that's a skip that you really have to just figure out, I guess. Oh, I really can't stop moving forward, huh? This might be a problem, because I don't want to go all the way. Yeah, that is a problem. Okay, well, I guess I'll just fling into the wind. Kinda crazy though, the lore of Link to Climb and stuff now. Like, this game's had a pretty big history. Well, from what I know. In the time I was in it, I've done a lot. I kind of miss the old days with Fee and me just squaring off in speedrun. Now it's just meme owns everything, and that's kind of sad because you don't really see new faces in for speedrunners trying to make stuff happen. You just see the old faces like Enigma, you have Meme, I mean, sort of Fee still, I guess. Not really. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Yeah, this is probably the hardest or most infamous section. Well, no, the most aggravating section of this level. In my opinion, at least. Unless you did the King Noob skip, but I'm not going to disclose how to do that except for it being called the King Noob skip. I didn't do it in my speed run because I didn't feel like it. Well, no, I tried to. I touched him fully, but I think they may have well, no, I mean, I don't know. Did I touch him? It's really confusing why I didn't get the skip. See, normally there'd be a jump pad here that literally brings you all the way to the end, but for some reason I just didn't get it. Well, at least I did this part flawlessly. Yeah, probably the hardest jump is this one, where literally all you just have to do is like something that-ish. Wait, can you just... No, way too high. But yeah, that's probably the hardest jump in my opinion. Is there more tech we found that's weird? Ah, yeah, the void fall tech. There is tech now with void fall, where technically you can... Oh, whoa, that's loud. Where you could technically easily beat the world record if you used this strat. It is kind of a two-player record, which is kind of weird. But so one person has to do this. They have to then... Wait, no. This-ish. The one person has to actually be running. And you have to, like, time it to where this box is, like, ways over there. And then you can, like, have the speedrunning player fling all the way to the lava section part without having to do all that, and you also get a considerable amount of speed. Really, the main thing I wanted to talk about is conveyor physics, but like, wow. It's really hard to discuss, because, I mean, it's just rotational axes, and I mean, it's not that hard if you get the hang of it. It's just, you make, it essentially, how do I explain this? Maybe I can explain it with the Lupo Valley super fast one over there. Wait, let me... Whoa. Yeah, so this one, you can just, technically, you can literally fling backwards on this one. If you just flick fast enough. Like, essentially, when you're turning against the conveyor, you just need to make sure you flick fast enough, because the conveyor sets the amount of speed that you could be turning to whatever the conveyor's speed is, so that they match up a little, you know. Wait, no, I should explain this differently. Essentially, your marble gets moved forward, but if you do bam, then you're moving this direction. If you do it correctly, your things will be, your camera will be moving faster towards the other direction than the, whatever the hell is, I don't know what it was called. Then the conveyor. It's like interesting physics, you know. Ooh, also, another thing, Mad has added a lot of anti-cheat stuff. I mean, there's like, you can't have infinite speed and reach anymore, or you can't have all of the skins for free, even the admin one. Well, it used to be admin, now it's called Destiny. I'm not gonna show that yet. I mean, you can probably find footage of it. Actually, what are the chances that people finish the game? Nope, wrong one. What are the chances that people finish the game? So we have 12 million people who start playing, and only 600. Whoa. That's insane. And yet probably like 70% of those are exploiters, so... Damn. Maybe that's why you never see people like past Golden Hollow. Actually, yeah, why is it as if Golden Hollow's the big drop off in players? Or maybe it's Floating Falls or whatever the other one is called. It's like definitely, it feels like you never see players past the Autumn Trio unless the player is like insanely good and has already beaten the game. It's like whenever you get past the Autumn Trio, it feels like it's essentially proof of, yeah, I'm too locked in now, I gotta finish this game.